Hello, today is vlog 15. We talk about Covid-19, buildings and energy efficiency, or how can we reconcile health with energy efficiency. Health is urgent, especially in these times, but fear sometimes lets us do things that are irrational and will not save us from contamination, while in the same time menacing the health of our children. For example, the recommendation to increase ventilation rates of buildings to 6 or more air exchanges per hour. The European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control, or the ECDC, writes in a document named Heating, Ventilation and Air Conditioning Systems in the context of Covid-19 that contamination commonly occurs in closed spaces. You can see all names and their websites below the video. HVAC, or Heating, Ventilation and Air Conditioning Systems, may help decrease it, but that's only one way of the following 4 to stay safe. So 1. Limit the sources of the virus. That's, for example, the control of contaminated persons in the building. 2. Combine good HVAC with natural ventilation. 3. Limit access in order to avoid crowds in the building. Homework belongs to this solution. And 4. Improve behaviour, like wearing masks, hand washing and keeping distance. I read in an article of carbonlighthouse.com that increasing the ventilation rate, as some organizations recommended as an answer to the health crisis, will increase the energy bill of buildings by 70%. I can imagine that this is not only because of ventilation costs, but also of increased heating and cooling energy that is blown away. This is the reason that I believe still more in heat and cold recovery under these circumstances. However, as I said at the beginning, fear must not make us irrational. We saw that contamination is not so much determined by inhaling the air of other people, but much more by other types of contact, like that with each other, with common objects, or getting hit by greater droplets from others' respiratory ways. I read from studies about ventilation and COVID that if the concentration of CO2 is held within limits of 800 parts per million, or ppm, and if filters for recirculation air are kept clean, the air in buildings is not so dangerous as transgressing the other 3 rules above. The ppm number tells how much CO2 is in the air, and as people are usually the only source of this gas, you can measure in this way how much the air has been used by others. You can just compare it with the ppm number of outside air, which is about 400. In some countries like Belgium, authorities start to suggest or prescribe clear ppm displays in public buildings. Pisa Airport in Italy did this already in 2020. I read this in an article of Maurice de Hond. In an earlier blog, I described already demand-controlled ventilation. That is a way of ventilation where air amounts are adapted to the amount of people. The difference in the ppm value between in and outside can be used to measure the amount of people and their respiration rate. You can then use that to accelerate or decrease ventilation. In a certain measure, you can also use this for demand-side management, or DSM, so using dips in the dynamic energy tariffs to increase ventilation rate, seeing your building as a storage of fresh air. Obviously, you can postpone ventilation for a long time, especially when many people are there, but dynamic energy tariffs can sometimes be very dynamic indeed. For example, in a quarter of an hour it can change very much. If you like this video, then please click on the thumbs up and subscribe to the newsletter. Remember that I also run the Bird's Eye Energy School, where you can follow a compact course in energy management and start saving very soon significant amounts of money in your working environment. See you next time. Bye bye.